welcome to the Save Canada channel and our very first episode. My name is Landon, and this is episode 1, and we have an immediate banger for all of you today. So I was on YouTube, looking around, browsing videos, and I found this one video. It was a pro-liberal video from a bunch of Canadians. I believe at the time they were recording in Mexico, they said, from the channel called The Planet D. I'm going to be watching this cancer for all of you to counter-argue some of their points. Let's get started now.
Hey everyone, welcome back. We are still in Mexico, as you can see, but I see there's some drama happening back home, so we thought we would just do a little video before we head out to explore it.
Yeah, we got it this morning, we checked our political news, and lo and behold, what did we see? We see that Pierre Poilievre penned a letter to Mark Carney right before his meeting with Donald Trump. And let me tell you, it's a doozy.
Imagine your coworker sending you a performance review before your big presentation and then CCing the entire media.
It's less constructive feedback and more, "Dear diary, I'm still mad that someone else got the job."
Right, let me immediately say it from the chest. This is politics, not a workplace. I don't get that comparison. It's not at all applicable. If you don't want the opposition, send a letter at an inconvenient time. Then you should make do in your promises. Though the Planet D, they make really good point. Those tariffs are just a Trump thing. Regardless, this isn't the defense they think it is. Other countries are suffering tariffs, and yet they have a better deal with Trump than Canada does. Canada is still suffering from tariffs on their steel, aluminum, cars, lumber, and up to a rate of 50%. It's kind of nuts.
Mark Carney's heading to Washington to meet Donald Trump again. Round 2 of trade talks.
Meanwhile, Poilievre decided this was the perfect moment to tell Canadians that Carney has failed on tariffs.
Alright, we're not even a minute into the actual video, but this perspective is just nuts. The opposition's job is to point out the other side's failings. This would be a relevant time as any for Pierre to remind Canadians how Carney has failed. If Carney fails again after this trip, which hindsight, he didn't come back with any deal, Pierre has reminded everyone of Carney's failings, and now we're paired with that new one that's fresh into people's minds. And if you're worried about this ruining Canada's reputation and thus negotiations, Carney's already on that. Have you seen the footage? He's sucking up to Trump. I was like, "Oh, I wore red for you. I wore red."
It's amazing. I would just say amazing. More red for you.
Poilievre's letter says Carney promised elbows up but caved.
Which is absolutely hilarious coming from a guy who hasn't negotiated a single international trade agreement in his life.
Or run a budget or met a global leader without turning it into a campaign rally about how only he can fix everything.
What? Oh, okay, what? Pierre hasn't ever held a position where he would be responsible for holding international immigrants. This is in no way invalidating his criticism of Carney. And, talk about running a budget all you want. Carney has even tabled his despite the year being more than halfway over. Do you all remember the vote in the House of Commons that was in favor for Carney and his Liberals to propose a budget before Parliament went on vacation in the midst of the tariff crisis and everything else that was going on? They went on vacation for the summer. And you remember how Carney and his Liberals went against that vote, and they're only now promising a budget for November.
And here's the thing, despite all the noise, Canada still has one of the lowest effective tariff rates in the world. Most of our exports to the US are still tariff-free under CUSMA.
And those Section 232 tariffs, they hit everyone.
Right, okay, who's arguing Canada has the worst effective tariffs? The real issue of these tariffs, though, is in the long term. You can talk about GDP, all this other stuff regarding the economy, all of this artificial stuff. What really matters is the jobs you're losing to this. It's the whole point that Donald Trump has put in these tariffs. He wants businesses and production to come from other countries like Canada and such. He wants that to come from Canada or anywhere. He wants to bring it to America and to create jobs there. Because when these businesses, when they see the high tariff costs, they have to export their stuff from Canada to the biggest market in the world, the biggest consumer market, they're going to see these high costs. They're not going to invest anymore. They're going to invest somewhere else, in America, where there will be no cost to transport it. where the economy is significantly better than Canada's. They don't have to suffer a disguised carbon tax on industry that increases the price, which, by the way, is passed on to consumers. So you think tariffs are bad for Canadians? Look at Carney and the Liberals' domestic policy. And this lack of investment, you're going to lose jobs. We already have terrible youth unemployment rates. You're going to lose even more. As companies move from Canada, they go to the United States. And the longer that Carney takes to get a deal for us, the more uncertainty there is. He's going to continue bending to Trump. What did he come out? Again, hindsight. He came out with positive attitudes about the future. Like, that doesn't work. That hasn't gotten us anything. We've seen Carney bend over to Trump. There was the tax a bit ago he made along with the European Union. Trump retaliated against that tax he put on him. Carney immediately backs down. I'm ranting a bit there. I would continue on with debunking the video, but, it really frustrates me seeing all of this. Let's continue.
Sources say Carney's not walking into the White House empty either. This time, he's prepared.
Ottawa's aiming for steel tariff relief. And think about it. Carney wouldn't have scheduled another meeting if there wasn't some motion, right? He's going in with a strategy.
Again, hindsight. They made this video before he went and came back, but there was no deal made. There was just positive attitudes about the future. Like, woohoo, let's go. We made progress. Given Trump's record, this means nothing.
Meanwhile, Pierre's idea of strategy is to write an angry letter and hope that CBC reads it on air, which they did. Mission accomplished. Congratulations, CBC. You've pandered to Pierre again.
These two can't possibly be serious if they know anything. Talk about pandering to Pierre. Look who's funded by the Liberal government. Just, the CBC is. I'll end it there.
Every time Poilievre takes a swing at Mark Carney, the MAGA crowd in Washington cheers a little louder.
Perhaps this is because they like seeing the man in charge of a party that is against free speech, proper criminal prosecution, and who is in favor of endless immigration being attacked. All values that they are open about. They don't like seeing these things, even if it's not their country.
And remember, this is the same guy who refuses to get the national security clearance required for top-level briefings. The same clearance every serious party leader accepts.
Yeah, and he's openly explained why he doesn't do this. He does it because it effectively would silence him on national security matters. He wouldn't be able to speak on these kind of things.
And if you missed yesterday's episode, we broke down all the ways Pierre keeps lying to Canadians. About the economy, about tariffs, about who he's really working for.
Watch that breakdown after this one. And once you see it, you'll understand how this letter starts to look less like concern and more like coordination.
Right, I went and watched this episode for you guys, so you didn't have to. I'm not gonna encourage you to watch any of this cancer. It's honestly it frustrates me to watch any of this. But I did watch it in the faith of a good argument. They ignored lots of the real problems of our economy in it. They called Pierre a bunch of names, and they never truly proved how he was uncredible. Outside of some Alberta Next session, where a student was silenced, and it had nothing to do with Pierre. If you guys would like to see me go in that video, it's got some pretty juicy topics, some good things to counter-argue, like to compare Pierre to Trump, other crazy claims like that. Like, I don't know how anyone could even do that, but they do. They find a way. If you'd like to see me cover that, then I'd love to hear you say that in the comments. Right, and that's the end of everything I have to talk about the Planet Do video. It's just a whole lot of nonsense. What else do you expect from the liberal crowd? Right, now given that we talked about that, this is our first episode. I'd like to inform everyone, this is a new channel, a new thing I'm starting. I'd like to inform everyone of what exactly we're trying to achieve here. We have a channel trailer. It should be going up along with this video. This channel is to inform people. I want to create a strong voice, because Canada, as the channel would suggest, it's in need of saving. Like, our country is at risk. You see or all of the endless immigration. You bring these people over, they don't assimilate. It threatens our Canadian culture. You see, all of this crime all over the place, people being stabbed. I had the image on the screen earlier. They're telling us, oh, this is the Wild West, as people are getting murdered at their homes. Like, we have no self-defense. Yeah, there's crime, and the Liberals vote against bills to put people in jail. They will ever release them. And now they want to bring in Parliament, they want to bring in bills like Bill C8, Bill C9. Like, there's a clear focus. They're going to try and bring away free speech on the internet. They're already doing so in public. You can't go out and say certain opinions. You can, legit, it's something they're going to try and expand. In C9, you get arrested for these kind of things. And in C8, they're going to deem some of these internet services as vital services. They're going to make it so that they say it's for hackers and such, but they're going to make it so any specific person, by a request of a minister, can have their services cut. So your internet, you say their own thing online, gone. It's really just a scary thing to see how close to the brink of just losing everything, all the generations that have been put into building Canada, it's all close to just being gone, because our country are fools. I'm an Ontarian. I'll admit it. I live here. I'm scum. I lived amongst the scum bucket. Our people here, we voted in the Liberal government again. Mostly the people in Toronto, though. I live in a conservative city. But even the conservative city, we're impacted by all of this. I see homeless people on the street. I see them do drugs. I see the crime that happens, all the theft. And so I think real Canadians, not these immigrants who are coming, they're not Canadian unless they take the time, learn the language, assimilate, hold proper Canadian values, historical values of Canadians. Unless they can do that, they're not real Canadians. We need real Canadians to come together, create a great unified voice, save the country. That's what Save Canada is. Have a good night, everyone.